Have you ever wanted to purchase the store-bought Italian ice? I mean, it looks so delicious and refreshing for a hot summer's day. Well, ciao and benvenuto. My name is Liz, and I'm going to show you how to make that Italian ice right in your own home, and it's going to cost a lot less with just a few simple ingredients. So let's go ahead and get started. So Italian lemon ice supposedly has its origins from Sicily. It's actually called Granita, and it is a little different than how people might look at Italian ice today. So what I'm making today is more of a Granita, but it is also Italian ice. So let's go ahead and get started. This recipe will serve about 4 to 6 people. So start off with a few lemons. What we're looking for is a half a cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice. So depending on the size of the lemon, you'll determine how much you get. Also, I'm using a half a cup of water and a half a cup of sugar. Just remember, everything is equal parts. Whatever you do for the water is what you do for the lemon juice and everything else. So I'm using an old vintage strainer that I have, and you're also going to need a shallow baking pan because this is what we're going to pour everything into and freeze in the freezer. So the more shallow it is, the better. So here I am juicing up all the lemons, and I'm just going to do it until I get a half a cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Once I get the lemon juice, I want to pour it into a strainer because there's probably seeds in here that came out and maybe there's some pulp, so I want to go ahead and do that and get that nice and cleaned up. Now, you can also do a little bit of lemon peel as well. I decided not to do that. My lemons are aging a bit, so I'd rather just not use the peels. Once that's ready, go ahead, set it aside, and in a small saucepan, I'm going to go ahead and place the sugar and the water together. I'm going to bring it up to a boil, and I'm going to stir it continuously. So here I have my induction burner. I have it set to high, and once it comes up to a boil, I lower the heat to just a simmer, and then I can just continuously stir it until all that sugar is melted. We want to set that sugar water aside once it's done, and we want to let that cool. Once it's cool, you can go ahead and add in that freshly squeezed lemon juice that we made. Once I do that, I give it a nice stir, and then let's go ahead and pour it into our shallow pan. By having it in a nice shallow pan, it's not only going to freeze quicker, but it's going to make it a lot easier for the next step we have. So here it is going into the freezer, and I'm being very careful because it would really be awful if this spilled. I probably should have covered it, but decided not to for the video. Okay, so it's been an hour and I used my timer so I'm not forgetting. And let's go ahead and take a look. And here's what it looks like. So it's just starting to freeze. It's not all the way frozen through like an ice cube. And I'm going to show you the next step of what really needs to happen. So what we're going to do is called raking. So grab your fork and gently scrape the top of the ice. Of course, mine crumbled quite a bit because it wasn't frozen all the way through, but that's normal. We want to break up all those ice crystals and keep those from forming, and we're just going to make it look like chunky ice, and that's what we're looking for. Once it's ready, it goes back into the freezer. We're going to continue to repeat this process every hour. You can also do every 2 hours. That's fine too. So here it is again. You can see that it's starting to freeze up, and we're going to go ahead and do the raking process again. And I'm just going to go ahead and keep breaking it up, making sure to get them as small as I want. I really don't think there's a wrong or right here. You can leave it a little chunky or you can make it really fine. So as you can see here, I really went to town. I just wanted to see how smooth I could really get it. I patted it down with my fork. I just really kind of having fun with it. Took about half a minute and put it back into the freezer. And then I went ahead and after an hour, pulled it back out again. And repeat the process. So here's the Granita after 4 hours of taking it out every hour and raking it. It's like really starting to get that nice flaky feel and just kind of light and airy. So looking really good. I just went ahead and continued to do this for this last batch of raking. So now that this was actually looking really good at the time of this video, I decided to go ahead and do my photo shoot and to actually have a little bit myself, but I forgot to freeze what was left, what I didn't use. And as a result, it ended up looking like this. So I had to put it back in the freezer for a little while, which was totally fine. So if it happens to you, just put it back in the freezer. No big deal. Okay, so it had melted a little bit the last time I had it out, so I put it back in, and so now it kind of looks like this. Don't worry, this is not how you're gonna serve it. Although I suppose you could just take a scooper like this and scoop it, but gosh, it's really hard, right? Like, you don't really wanna do that. So what you wanna do is you wanna do a final raking. So we're just gonna go ahead and keep raking it. I mean, and this is solid. But what's nice about it is it's so different than so many of each of the other times when I did it, where it was very ice cubey, right? But this, it's almost got a fluffy, like a shredded, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's got almost like a soft feel to it. And this is what we're looking for. And I can tell you, I've already taken some bites, and so has my husband. And it's really good. So you just go ahead and keep raking it until you've got it all done. There are so many variations that you can do for this. You don't have to do lemons. You could really kind of use any other juice. Like if you wanted to do orange juice, you could do that. You could do blueberry, pomegranate. Lots of different options there. Okay, so I think we are just about ready to serve, and this looks delicious. So I'm gonna get my regular ice cream scooper here, because I think that'll make sense. And I'm just gonna do a little traditional way of using this little wine glass thing.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
It's a champagne glass.
Champagne glass, my husband just told me. All right, so what I'm gonna do is instead of putting it in where it just kind of falls apart, I'm gonna kind of pack it a bit, and I'm just gonna use the fork and put it in like that. And if you don't have a scooper and you just wanna use a spoon, you can do that. Now remember, this is ice, so it will melt. So I'm gonna make some for my husband, and I'm just using a little glass. You can use a bowl, but I think traditionally it's kind of like a sorbet where you can just go ahead and use a little glass and make a nice little presentation. You can even put some basil leaves on top if you have some fresh basil leaves. Now I have to say that this really was not challenging to make. I just had to remember to set my timer to rake it every hour for the first 4 hours. All right, let's go ahead and take a little taste test. Of course, I already know it's gonna be great. As soon as it hits your mouth, you're like, oh yes, this is summertime. This tastes so good. And you know, with all that lemon and that sugar, it's not, there's between the tartness and the sweetness, it just combines. This is so delicious, and this is so much better than what you'll get at the grocery store. So, if you like these type of really easy recipes that are Italian and taste amazing, make sure to give that like, hit the notification button so you don't miss out, and sign up for our newsletter below, because I'm sending out emails throughout the week, every week, right to your inbox for free. And speaking of free, make sure you sign up below for our free ebooks that I'm giving away for free, 100%. So I want to thank you so much for watching. Grazie e ciao.